This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. October 10th is World Mental Health Day, and this year we're saying thank you, therapists. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories, millions of journeys, and behind every one is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take a step forward. Moments in therapy, like the right question, a safe space to cry, or a small win, can change lives. This World Mental Health Day, BetterHelp is honoring those connections and the therapists who make them possible, while showing how easy it is to get guidance from a licensed therapist online with BetterHelp. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who've helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/PFF. That's betterhelp.com/PFF. In number 7, Indiana, at number 3, Oregon, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. A spot in the Big Ten title game could potentially be on the line in this game because right now, Oregon and Indiana are the second and third highest ranked teams in the Big Ten, obviously behind Ohio State, who's number 1 in the entire country. Ohio State also avoids both Oregon and Indiana on their schedule. Because of that, there's a very strong chance that the winner of this game would ultimately go to Indianapolis in December to fight for a Big Ten title.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think also just in the case of the playoff, and you never want to call out things too early. You never know when a team stumbles. You know that well. I think after this game, whoever wins this game, I would just about guarantee goes to the playoff, right? Because you look at Oregon, I look at their last 6 games, I'd favor them pretty heavily in all of them. You look at Indiana, their last 6, maybe the Penn State game, I wouldn't favor them, but the rest of them, I think they are the more talented team. When you look at Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, I think the winner of this game is just about locking in a playoff spot. I know we're calling this out after week 7, but you just look at the rest of these team schedules. Oregon already having the win at Penn State. Indiana with a couple of big wins over obviously Illinois and Iowa. That was big for them to get through their first 2 Big Ten games. And you mentioned it, the inside track to the Big Ten title game. Likely, we think, for now, to play Ohio State eventually down the line.
And they avoid them in the regular season too, which is huge.
And they avoid them head-to-head in the regular season. And for the tiebreaker, if you're trying to catch up and work into that mix, and then you're hoping the other loses a game along the way, gets kind of tough in there. So I really think the winner of this game is in such a fantastic spot when it comes to, yes, the Big Ten title game, but also the playoff. I would darn near guarantee the winner of this game goes to the playoff right now.
Our guy, Andrew Harbaugh, so early on in the show, he said battle for QB1 this week, and I actually didn't know which game he's talking about because you have a couple of them. Maybe it's Indiana, Oregon, with Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore. Maybe it's still LSU, South Carolina with Lenore Sellers and Garrett Nussmeier. He did confirm he's talking about this game, though, Indiana against Oregon. So QB1.
For a minute he was talking about Alabama, Missouri.
In the draft, you think Bo Prabula?
Might have a better shot than Drew Aller.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. That's not saying much, unfortunately, right now, but maybe. But he is talking about this game, Dalton, and you have the Oregon offense with the Heisman Trophy favorite right now in Dante Moore, who also went number 1 overall in our most recent mock draft that we just did, too. What should we know when he has the ball in this game?
So this Indiana defense presents unique challenges. They run more zone coverage than any team in the country, right around 93% of the time. They run a very, very high rate of simulated pressures, among the highest rates in the country, and they rotate their safety. So there is a lot of post-snap movement in this Indiana defense. If you do want to know if Dante Moore can process at an NFL level, especially after the snap and reading safeties and things of that nature, this is the game you're watching because Curt Cignetti's defense is flying all over the place. They may only send 4 on any given play, but a lot of times you don't know which direction they're coming from and you don't know which way the zone defenses are going to rotate. So what we're going to look at is Dante Moore this year against zone defense. And of course, as he's been with everything else, he's been outstanding. A 90.5 passing grade, completing 80% of his passes, almost 10 yards per attempt, 8 touchdowns, 8 big-time throws. The way that he is seeing the field and the level of calm that he is doing it with, right? You saw this at Penn State, winning that game just very calmly, doing his job, making the right throws into the right windows. That's something that's going to help him in this game against Indiana. I think that's the whole key, is him understanding what he sees pre-snap and understanding that it can change as he's in his drop back, reading those safeties, understanding where the protections need to be, and it helps that he's got the best pass protection in the country right now, but the communication up front is going to have to be spectacular. But if Dante Moore keeps ripping passes into zone coverage like he's been doing the first half of the season, then Oregon obviously has a really good shot to win this game.
And big get for Indiana this week too. D'Angelo Pond will be back this week. One of the best corners in the country. Maybe we see a lot of him against DeCorian Moore. That'd be an awesome matchup. But that's a huge get for Indiana this week, because if you don't have D'Angelo Pons against Dante Moore in that passing game right now, Indiana could be in trouble. But D'Angelo Pons, like I said, is one of the best corners in the country. He will be back from injury this week too. So I'm looking at the other guy who could be QB1 and maybe the Heisman Trophy winner this year too, and Fernando Mendoza. Can Oregon find a way to bother him in the pocket? Because if you give Fernando Mendoza time in the pocket, he's most likely going to pick you apart. But if you make an effort to put the projected top 10 pick under duress, he's far more average right now. When he's kept clean, Fernando Mendoza has the 9th best PFF grade in the country. When he's not blitzed, the 6th best PFF grade in the country. But when he's under pressure, only 43rd in America. And when he is blitzed, he's 41st in America too. Now, the issue for Oregon is that his secondary, I would say right now, is stronger than his pass rush. Right now, the Ducks are 63rd in team pass rush grade this year and 53rd in pressure rate, about 33%. They're also very content with sitting back in coverage. They send a blitz at the 79th highest rate in the FBS at only 34% this year. That last number might change in this game, because like I said, Fernando Mendoza, if you keep him clean and you don't blitz him, he's a guy that can really hurt you. But when you do blitz him and put him under pressure, he's far more average right now. I think that's the matchup to watch, is how much does Oregon blitz Fernando Mendoza in this game?
It is incredibly interesting, and I think the other thing I'm going to say, another potential first-round guy, you know I love him. If you're Fernando Mendoza, you better know where Dylan Thieneman is at all times. I think for both quarterbacks in this game, that's why it's going to be such a fascinating game, both for the outcome of it and for the potential in the NFL draft, is that both of these quarterbacks are going to have to be excellent in this game at seeing things post-snap. I think that's the big thing, and both of them have done it well so far. Fernando Mendoza is a decisive guy. He's a quick decision maker, 2.6 average time to throw. We know when he makes a decision, boom, the ball's coming out right now. I think that's what really won them the game against Iowa late, is that he is incredibly decisive. He knows where he wants to go with the football, but whichever defense can make the other quarterback, even if they don't pressure them necessarily early in the count, because these are two teams that can pass protect pretty well, right? I think what it comes down to is making the other quarterback just hesitate. Just a little. Who can make the other one flinch, especially with change in coverage schemes? You know Dan Lanning's the defensive genius. He's got a lot of movable pieces back there. Great linebackers to work with, too. We know Indiana, with the simulated pressures and all of the rotations in the back end, it's going to be a fun game to watch and to find out which of these quarterbacks can process in a really big environment here.
Yeah, two guys I'm really looking at, too. If they do only send 4 rushers at Fernando Mendoza, Mateo Uiagalelei have a big game, and Mari Washington, too. Two guys that could be first-round picks in the NFL draft. Mari Washington's been great this year so far. Those are two guys that have to have big games against Indiana's offensive line too. If they only send 4 rushers, those two probably need to step up big time. And Tatum Tuioti too is a really good player, but I'm looking at those two and whether or not they can get significant pressure on Fernando Mendoza in this game. Andrew Harbaugh actually is a great comp for Dante Moore in the chat. You want to guess who it is?
I know you've thrown C.J. Stroud at me a little bit, but go ahead.
It's Michael Myers. No emotion. Just remains focused on the task at hand, and he executes.
Oh, I didn't know if we could still use that after the Ashton.
Oh yeah, so I guess Ashton Ginty of quarterbacks, I guess, is the comp.
That's some hefty praise. That's some hefty praise right there. And I don't know if we can take it from Ginty either, because Ginty, you saw the Raiders let him go back to the stance.
Yes.
And that's why he had such a big game against the Bears last week. He went. They took the stance away from him. Now they gave it back to him. I mean, it makes sense though. He's ice cold, and we're gonna find out which of these quarterbacks is more ice cold, especially in this game in Oregon. Man, oh man, what a fun environment!
What a whale of a ball game we've got, Dalton, in a matchup between two of my favorite coaches in the country, in Dan Lanning and Kurt Cignetti, two quarterbacks who could be the number 1 overall pick in the draft and maybe the Heisman Trophy winner this year, and ultimately the game that could decide who goes to the Big Ten title game in December. Who do you got between Oregon and Indiana?
Fun game. I think these are two fantastic football teams. I do think both teams are also, we've talked a lot about the quarterbacks, but I think there is going to be a part of this where we're going to see who can run the football too against two really good front sevens. Is it going to be Indiana with Kalen Black and Roman Hemby? Is it going to be Oregon with Noah Whittington and their backs? What kind of trickery are we going to see on either side? It's going to be a lot of fun, but I've got Oregon 30-24. I think the home environment, they get it done. And Dante Moore and this pass protection especially, we have to remember right now, this is the best pass protecting team in college football, the Oregon Ducks. They were like this 2 years ago with Bo Nix as the quarterback. Darn near took it to a Pac-12 title and a playoff spot. I think Oregon's got the same build this year where Dante Moore back there is so comfortable behind this offensive line. Isaiah World, Alex Harkey, the interior guys have been spectacular. I think that's the key, is if Indiana can get enough pass rush. I think there are going to be moments when Mendoza is under pressure because Indiana's offensive line is very good, but we've seen in big spots before where the pass protection fails them a little, and Mendoza was under a lot of pressure when they played Iowa a couple weeks ago. I trust Oregon's pass protection and then Dante's ability to see the field right now. Oregon 30, Indiana 24.
I have Oregon winning as well, 28-21 over Indiana. I think Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza could go throw for throw in this game. That could be a pivotal game for, like I said, for the Heisman race and the 2026 NFL Draft QB1 race. I do think Dante Moore will ultimately end up on top, though, and sets Oregon up for another run to the Big Ten title game in December. So very close game. It should be, I think it's probably going to be the best game of Week 7, but I got Oregon winning this one 28-21 at home, too, which is big for Oregon, I think, too.